Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are talking about the Scorpio new moon that we have today. So, happy Scorpio new moon. And I want to make sure that I can see comments from the Facebook group. I am currently live, and subsequently, you will be able to watch the replay of this in the Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group, as well as on the Blue Moon Manifestations Facebook or YouTube channel. YouTube channel, that's what I was looking for. And so I'm just making sure that I can see some of the comments in case they don't show up here. And we've had some new people joining the group in the last few days. We also have a challenge that started today in the group as well. So because of that, this Scorpio New Moon live will be a little bit twofold, but I do want to start with the standard live, the moon manifesting mentoring that I do for the full moon and new moon every month here. And then I will just wrap up with talking a little bit about the challenge, because there's a video and a post already available inside the Facebook group. So for those who are newer to the group or newer to these videos, hello, I'm so excited you're here either live or on replay. And if you are watching on the replay at a future time, let me know. Just say hello, participate along in the comments or in the conversation. And also you can type in hashtag replay and let me know that you are watching the replay. So for those who are newer, I do these lives twice a month, once for the new moon and once for the full moon of each lunar cycle. And what the purpose, or what my intention for having these lives is to help you guys ultimately develop a relationship with working with the moon. And what doing this ultimately also does is help you develop and nurture and strengthen a relationship, or the relationship with yourself. And if you've never really thought about that, having a relationship with yourself, working with the moon is really a great way to learn and to kind of start thinking about things this way, because the moon is associated with our emotions. So in astrology, the moon is associated with water, and water represents emotions. And so the moon is tied to, represents our emotions. So our internal self, right? Our feelings, how we react to things, how we want to feel, how we're currently feeling, how we like or want to be nurtured, and how we nurture, right? So all this connected to emotions. And so the moon travels through all 12 signs of the zodiac every single month. And every month, the new moon falls, in the next zodiac sign, going around the zodiac calendar. Every now and then, like earlier this year, we have 2 new moons in the same sign. We had that in Aries in March and April of this year. And so that doesn't happen every year. It happens every now and then. And so that's what I talk about, helping you establish a relationship with the moon, which subsequently develops and nurtures your relationship with yourself. So for the purpose of setting intentions, the way that I talk about it, the way that I have found through, trying different things, learning from other people as well, is that setting intentions at the new moon is, or setting feelings based intentions is what I like to do. And what I mean by that is to set intentions or an intention for how you want to feel. And by doing that, by making a feeling the intention, it can manifest in your life in an infinite number of ways. It can be something that you can create and manifest and tap into every single day. And I will talk a little bit about how to go about doing that and what that does by making the feeling the intention. It takes the pressure off of achieving the actual goal or like the external results or circumstances or benchmarks, whatever it is, like, um, earning more money, having the house, going on vacations. Those are all external. And the thing that I realized, from learning and doing this work is whatever it is that we want externally, whether it's to have a higher income, whether it's to experience, to have more adventures, whether it's to feel, happier, whatever it is, or to do things that make us happy, whatever, to have a house. I think I'm repeating myself. So whatever external thing or result or circumstance that we want and that we might set intentions for or set goals for, what is ultimately guiding that? What is guiding that or pushing us, or what is calling us to set that intention and want that thing is a feeling. Now, we may not be aware of it. It may not be something that you're consciously aware of. And I will give you an example. So if you, let's say, set an intention or you have a goal to have your dream house, or to buy a home, or to move into a bigger home, or something along those lines, whatever that phrasing might be for you, there is a feeling guiding that. There's a feeling driving that desire. Now, that feeling might be different for absolutely everybody who sets that intention or have a different reason behind it. So, for example, let's say right now, for real, currently, I live in a very small studio space. I rent like the back part. This space has been turned into a studio at my aunt's house. So I rent this space from her. And so my intention, might be to be like to move into a bigger house. And that is the goal down the line. And what is that feeling driving that? So I want to feel maybe spacious, to have more space, to be comfortable, right? To be comfortable in having maybe comfortable isn't the right word, but having enough space like for an office and for a craft room. So to feel spacious and for it to feel cozy. So that would be an intention that I would set, feeling spacious, manifesting the feeling of comfort or relaxation, whatever it is. And so that's not something I'm actively working on. So that's why the feeling isn't really coming to me, because that's not top of mind right now. And so whatever external result or external desire that you have, I encourage you at the new moons, or maybe a little bit before, when you're getting ready to set your intentions, investigate and get curious as to what is the feeling that is driving that desire. Some other common feelings that go along with, or that might be driving, maybe having a home of your own or a bigger home. It might be stability, feeling stable and having a place of your own so that you feel established. You feel that you are providing, like you're providing a space for your family or for your children or for future generations. So established, safe, secure, comfortable, having a home base. That might not be a feeling, but what might be the feeling attached to that? So I invite you, and if you want to share or just kind of start exploring, in the comments if there's an external result or desire that you have. Ask yourself, what is the feeling that is driving that? What is the underlying feeling? And it might not be readily apparent, especially if this is something that is newer to you, like a newer practice or something that you know are just starting to learn about. So that's why working with the moon is this way of establishing and nurturing a relationship with yourself. So that's a very quick and kind of sped up overview, because I know there are new people that have recently come in and that are coming in because of the challenge that we're having that started here today. So let me get into Scorpio a little bit, and I will talk on some feelings that might be associated with Scorpio or tied to Scorpio. And I am going to see if I can actually share the graphic that I created. It's posted on my Facebook and Instagram pages, but I have it pulled up here. And let's see if I can use this as a, window. Oh, I think I might be able to. Okay. Is that? Yay, it's showing up. All right. So this is a graphic for Scorpio, for today's Scorpio New Moon. And so these are some words, feelings-based words, that you maybe can work with as an intention. They also might be words that inspire other ones or that give you an idea or something to work with. But Scorpio is a water sign. So like I said, that's connected to our emotions and to intuition. So maybe feeling intuitive. And emotional, I actually have that here as an intention, and not in the sense where, it says, oh, you're too emotional. But a lot of times, a lot of us have the tendency to resist feeling our emotions. There are emotions that we don't want to feel and we don't want to experience because they feel hard or they're unpleasant or they might be tied to, sad memories. But the thing is, by not feeling them, by suppressing them or holding them back, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So I put emotional here in the sense of allowing yourself, setting the intention to actively allow yourself to feel and experience the emotion. So you might phrase that differently, and that's absolutely okay. So sensitive, passionate, connected to whatever, connected to yourself, connected to nature, connected to someone you're in a relationship with, whether that's family or a partner or friends. Honest. I want to feel honest because that ties to our emotions and how we approach people and how we present ourselves. And that's how I included it here for ourselves, like feeling honest with myself or with yourself about your beliefs, how you want to portray yourself or come across in the world, but something that is genuine and honest and unique to you, but not that you're following someone else's dreams or someone else's suggestions. Sensual, Scorpio is definitely tied to that sensual and passionate energy as well. And thrilling. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can move those little squares. Let me see. Oh, yes, I did. Yay! And then the last one is tenacious. And that is just something you are just going to stick with it. You are a follow-througher. I don't know if that's a word or a phrase. So these are just examples. You can Google Scorpio and words or associations with it and find all sorts of different words. And what I do for these calls, for these lives, is give you words that might be associated with the actual zodiac sign that the moon is in. That doesn't mean you can't use words that might be associated with another zodiac sign, because a lot of them do cross over. And they are all through the moon, right? Because the moon is going through all of these, moving into all of these signs. So If these are not words that resonate with you, look for words that do resonate with you. Yay, I'm so glad you love them. Yay. I have found that giving examples can be helpful. Why is my phone not cooperating? Okay. It's not showing me your name, and it usually shows up on my phone, but it might be just a little bit behind. But I am glad that that they're helpful. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and wondering why it's not cooperating, but that's okay. So setting setting feelings based intentions then drives the actions that we take. And so let's say passionate, just because I looked at that one and it popped out. Let's say you set an intention to feel passionate. Find your passion, be passionate in a relationship, be passionate about something like a hobby or an activity in whatever way that plays out for you. So setting the intention to feel passionate, then you ask yourselves, what can I do to fuel that passion? What can I do to feel passionate right now? And that might be, listening to some great music that gets you feeling good, or having pictures around, if you're passionate about nature or passionate about a hobby or an art or something, what can you incorporate in your day-to-day life that helps you tap into that passion? And then what can you do to actually participate in that, to fuel that passion for yourself? And keep in mind, in this aspect, it doesn't have to be something grandiose. You don't have to go, create the masterpiece that you're wanting to, or that's on your vision board to create a masterpiece. Maybe you just get some watercolors. I'm using art as an example. That's just what popped into my head. Maybe you get some watercolors or some pencils, some color pencils, or you simply doodle in your journal or in your diary, in the evenings or in the mornings, whenever you doodle. Maybe you go for a walk, and you get some fresh air in your lungs in the morning or in the afternoon after work, and reset, do that transition from leaving work to the next part of your day. What can you do that inspires that passion? And I will always, more often than not, I will use music as an example, because music can help us feel ways that we want to feel. It can amplify when, if we're feeling good, it can help us feel better and amplify those feelings. So listen to some music is something that I always recommend, or, throw out there as an option that helps you feel that way. And it could be instrumental, it could be, lyrics that fuel your passion, but find ways to feel that way or to step into that feeling in any given moment. And by doing that over and over and continuously throughout the lunar cycle, you will then be led. You'll get like these ideas. Oh, I can try that. Or you will attract other opportunities or people, that might suggest a class or suggest an activity or invite you to something. That's how this energy connection, if you will, works, by feeling better, the best that we can, and on purpose, intentionally doing that on an ongoing basis. We raise our vibration. We are human beings. We have human experiences. We're going to have shit days. We're going to have things that go completely wrong, and that where we also do feel the frustration, the anger, the jealousy, the resentment. They are all on the spectrum of emotions. So we are designed, and it is good for us to feel them. The key is not staying and not dwelling in the lower vibration emotions. So there's two ends of that spectrum. We might want to avoid feeling them or resist feeling them because they're unpleasant or undesirable. And then there's the other extreme where we just allow ourselves or get stuck or get caught in like dwelling there. So the practice becomes, what can I do to get back or move closer to how I want to feel? And so by finding actions or things that you can do in any given moment to either move you closer to the feeling or to help you feel that way, you will start to manifest ideas, opportunities, and all these things are moving you closer to the actual external desires: the house, the job, the money, the vacations, the friends, the adventures, the joy, the the whatever that is external. That's how you start attracting those things, by making yourself the focus, how you want to feel, and doing things that help you feel that way. It seems very simplistic, and really it is. We tend to complicate things so much. So I'm going to stop that, stop sharing, and just touch a little bit on just some talking points that I have for Scorpio, because that is the new moon that we have today. And okay, so I'm switching screens around because I have different screens where I have my notes and things. So Scorpio, you might feel around this time, maybe you do feel emotional. You have some more, emotions coming to the surface easier or more freely than you do at other times. Sensitive, passionate, those are very generalized, but you might feel those types of things. And this is a reminder, because Scorpio is sometimes, or quite often, a misunderstood sign. And so, yes, the Scorpio, which is represented by a scorpion, has that stinger. And that stinger is like, well, I want to get to know you, or I really want to like deep dive into these emotions. But if you, I don't know, lie to me or do something that makes me feel resentful, then I'll sting you with my stinger. But what it wants to do with this Scorpio energy is really to experience all of the emotions and do it along with, the person or the partner or the friend or whoever you happen, to be in any type of relationship with. So reminding ourselves that experiencing the hard emotions, although we might be tempted to sting and strike back and push those down, feeling those uncomfortable emotions and letting them work their way through our body, whatever that feels like for ourselves, is actually necessary for us to grow and evolve and expand and be able to learn how to manage these emotions, experience them in a healthy way without that initial, or without that knee-jerk reaction of striking back, or being, saying a harsh word, or whatever the case is. And so by feeling them, allowing that anger, the frustration, the resentment, the sadness to work its way through our body, that's how we transform them. That's how we move them through our body and transform them and release them. And then I'll just also touch in quickly that the emotions themselves are energy, and you will feel them as, a sensation in your body. It might be a knot in your stomach. It might be, nausea or heat that, when you get frustrated or angry or something, you might feel heat rising to your head or your face or some parts of your body. That's the emotion. That's the energy of the emotion. And so simply giving yourself the space, the time to let that move through is all that it takes. If you're someone who also who has a hard time, or who tends to maybe hold on to them, movement is a great conductor of this energy. Going for a walk, doing some stretches. And if you're stuff that's really pent up, like you're angry or frustrated, vigorous movement, like, running or jogging or just dancing. Dancing is always great because it doesn't always feel like exercise. So just think about with Scorpio and this new moon, if there are some emotions that come up for yourself, for you, that feel undesirable or you want to tend to resist, allow yourself to feel them. Pay attention to where in your body you feel them and what it is. And you will also notice when they work their way through, right? You'll notice that, the heat, like that's a good one. The heat intensifies and it rises, and maybe you think, you just tend to feel sweaty, or you feel like your face is red, or whatever the case is. And just let it go. Let it do its thing. It will subside. It won't stay that way. It might stay that way for, I don't know, a minute or so, but it will also pass. And then you've experienced it. You're not holding on to it, even if it didn't feel that great. And movement is a great way to also release the energy and the emotions, like shaking it out, doing some kind of wiggle dance, or putting on a song and, dancing around the house or your room or wherever, outside, whatever space that you have and want to do that. Movement is a great conductor of energy and letting those emotions go through. So I think that is the gist of it, the meat and potatoes, if you will, of Scorpio. If you have specific questions or something doesn't quite make sense, either now or on the replay, let me know in the comments, and I can definitely touch on that or speak to it. Or if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, but I will look into it depending on what your question is. But I have a couple of other things to share with you, but I am going to double check and make sure, because yes, there is something I wanted to share with you. Some activities, some Scorpio-esque activities that you can do either at your new moon intention setting ritual or practice, if you have one, or actually focuses that you might want to include in your intention setting, like feelings associated with these things. Review your finances, because a lot of times that keeps us from feeling secure and safe and stable. And so reviewing your finances, this is a good time to do that. There are several times throughout the year that are good for that. And creating space, like that quiet time without distractions. And it doesn't have to be a long time, but just creating some space to check in with yourself and feel your emotions. And the easiest way to do that is to simply ask yourself and write down if you want to, but check in with yourself and say, how am I feeling today? Or how am I feeling right now? What am I experiencing? What feelings am I experiencing? And simply the act of asking yourself will reveal an answer to you. Maybe you didn't realize you were frustrated or something, and all of a sudden, by asking yourself that, you realize you're holding tension in your neck, or your shoulders are up or something. It's like, oh, okay. It gives you the space to actually check in with yourself, which is a lot of things that we don't do. Give yourself maybe just a break, and I'm not saying an extended one, but a break from technology, maybe for the evening or for an hour before bed or whatever that is. But this is also part of creating that space to feel your emotions without being distracted, by digital media or scrolling or phone calls and texts. Give yourself a break, a timeout. You can set a timer if you like, or like if it's the duration of your, new moon intention setting, whatever that is. In reviewing your finances, focus on abundance. And it doesn't only have to be with finances and money, but where do you have abundance in your life? And I will tell you that I have a go-to when I'm feeling like, stressed about money or whatever, where I'm not feeling abundant. Either I'm not feeling abundant, I don't feel like I have plenty of time. I'm worried about, paying a bill or an expense that's unexpected. Focusing on what I have an abundance of, for me, it's always air, the ability to take a breath. Because I have asthma and it's not severe, but I have had moments in my life where I have a shortness of air. I have a shortness of breath, and it's difficult to breathe. And I have had to go to the hospital in the past as a result, of having issues with asthma. Thank goodness it's been many years since I've had to do that. But I know, especially when I was younger and growing up with having asthma, I know what it feels to have a lack of air, a not an abundance of air. So for me, I always focus on I have plenty of air to breathe and I can take a deep breath. And so when you're feeling lack in one area of your life, focusing on what you have plenty of, or you feel abundant in, or you have more than enough of in other areas actually does help. It helps you take the focus off of the lack and focus on what you have, which then actually creates space for opportunities, for problem solving, for other people to maybe step in. Because if you continue to focus on the lack, or the anxiety, that might be causing, you're going to attract more things to support that lack or that scarcity. With Scorpio being a water sign, listening to your intuition, maybe doing some intuitive practices to see how your intuition speaks with you. And that could be anything from pulling tarot cards or oracle cards, meditating and asking a question and seeing how the answer comes to you, in what way. Do you hear things like, do you have a knowing like, oh, I wonder if that's it? Does a thought pop into your head? And really looking at what you want to transform in your life. And it doesn't have to be anything top, it doesn't have to be like your whole life. It could be an aspect of your life. It could be a habit that is not helping you. What are things that you can commit to or focus on transforming with this Scorpio new moon? And get back to where I was. One of the things that I learned in the last few years that really helped me wrap my head around Scorpio and this energy, because it was a sign that I didn't really get right off the bat, is that Scorpio is also associated with the energy or of the phoenix. So think of the phoenix, right? It burns in the ashes and it is transformed, and then the new version of the phoenix rises from the ashes. So think of this Scorpio time as this transformative energy, like that type of, what do I need to release, burn off, let go, burn down, burn away in order to create space for the new. And it seems a little bit, contradictory, since Scorpio is a water sign. And I don't recall off the top of my head, like that connection, where it came from, or if it was, I'm not even going to try to pretend, but there is this connection with Scorpio energy and the phoenix as well. So that might help. It really helped me. It's like, oh, what the hell do I need to transform? What is really not working for me? What is standing in my way? And, setting an intention for feeling a different way than that. So if I felt like in the past, I can say I felt anxious about money. And this was several years ago. And I had like reminders come up in the last few years, like, oh my gosh, like, having an unexpected expense. And like before, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is going to kill me. Or this is, I'm never going to be able to do this. And realizing that I've been fine every single time. And so what old habits, what old thought patterns are still coming up that are not helping me and that are standing in the way? And this is a great time at the Scorpio new moon. It's like, think of what would you like to feel instead? So for me, instead of feeling anxious about an unexpected expense or one that I forgot about, which has definitely happened in my life, then it's like, well, how do I want to feel instead? I'd rather feel spacious. I'd rather feel like I have plenty, like plentiful. And so focusing on that will guide the thoughts you have, the actions you take, the solutions you look for, realizing that, okay, it might be unexpected, but you'll be fine. It might, shift things a little bit, but we've all made it through. We might be scarred and bruised and battered and, had some really shit times, but we've made it through. We're all here right now. Even if we're in the midst of some type of challenge, we're here. And as uncomfortable as it feels, or we want to get, out of it or away from it, we're here. And we are getting through day by day, moment by moment, right? Yes, it will all work out. It really does. We just get so focused on how hard it feels or how overwhelming or how devastating. And they're all valid feelings. And it's simply learning this process of, okay, I'm feeling very overwhelmed, or this is feeling very scary. And it's like, it's okay to feel scary, to feel scared. Let that pass so that you can then focus on something different and feeling a different way. I'm going to share with you, I didn't have this in my notes, but it's an activity I actually learned from a video by Mel Robbins. If you're familiar with her, she has a podcast. She's a speaker, an author, all these things. So she has a practice where it is calming your nervous system. And the way I learned about it from her, she was talking about like a 2-minute morning routine and the things she includes in that. 2-minute, 2.5-minute. Anyway, one of the things she talked about is putting your hands over your heart and saying 3 times, either out loud, ideally if you can, or in your head, I am fine, I am safe, and I am loved. And that is like a calming, put it over your heart. Imagine this energy going into your heart and saying, I am fine, I am safe, and I am loved. And that is like a calm injection to your nervous system. So when you catch yourself feeling anxious about something or overwhelmed or scared, try that. I am fine, I am safe, and I am loved. And say it 3 times, 5 times, 6 times to yourself or whatever, and see how that calms you down a bit. It's not going to take the situation away. It's going to take that level of anxiety and fear and bring it down so that you can then focus on something else, or it gives you the space to focus on something else. You have to actually make the choice and do it. So, all right, I think that's it for Scorpio. And so that's, again, this is all in the desire of helping you guys develop a relationship with the moon and the zodiac calendar and the lunar cycle so that you can improve the relationship with yourself. So I went a little bit over on that than I wanted, but I do want to touch on really quickly the challenge that I talked about that started today. It's in the Moon Manifesting Rockstars Facebook group. So if you're watching this in the group, you already have access to it. You don't need to do a thing. If you're watching this on YouTube and Facebook isn't your thing, you can register your email, and I will put a link in the description where you can register your email address and get the materials and information sent to you for the challenge. This challenge is called the Manifesting Me Challenge. And again, it puts the focus on you and becoming the person who is experiencing and living and having the things that you desire. And this is a very foundational challenge. It's not like the whole kit and caboodle. It is actionable steps that you can do or incorporate into your day-to-day life that you can try throughout this challenge. And each day focuses on one of my 5 pillars. And my 5 pillars for Manifesting Me correlate to the word magic. And I always put my hand out because it's magic. And so I used to spell it out and say what it stands for. So magic for me, this magic framework formula is the moon, attract abundance. It's an ongoing process for the A, but right now it's attract abundance, gratitude, intention, and clarity. And so the moon, that's today. The activity is to start a moon journal or a manifestation journal, if that's what you choose to call it. And I shared some questions to check in with yourself every day. And there is a video. I think it's like 10, 12 minutes. I recorded several of them ahead of time. So there's a video posted in the group. But again, if you're watching this on YouTube and are not in the group, I will say the questions that I gave to ask are, how am I feeling right now? Or how am I feeling today? How do I want to feel? And what actions can I take to feel that way? Just what I talked about earlier, but jotting those down on a daily basis or a couple times a week, if this is something you're starting to implement. And then at the end of the day or later on, you will also come back and check in with yourself and say, how did I feel today? What did what actions or tasks or what did I do to feel the way I wanted today? And what wins did I have today? And there's always something there. We might not always be aware of them, but developing this practice and checking in with yourself and connecting with this, this lunar energy every day is a way to start. So this moon journal and manifesting journal is what I shared with A today. And actually, I'm going to go into, I shared the whole talk about, what can you do to feel that way? And so I didn't include in that video, but recently on my podcast and around Halloween time, I talked about wearing or creating this costume, like the authentic me costume. Like, what would you wear? Like, if you could be yourself, especially if we're, keeping from being ourselves. If you could be yourself all the time, and you could create this costume of the authentic, badass, amazing, kick-ass version of yourself, what would that version of you wear? How would they show up in the world? So I'm going to add on, also, think of that. Think of the authentic me costume that you would put together for yourself. And I'll give you an example. When I shared a picture, for Halloween, that a friend of mine had posted one of those, those costume kits that people show pictures of, they name it something and it, and they show pictures of it. Well, my friend had posted this picture or costume kit for Gen X mom. And I said, I love it. I don't have kids, but I'm still like all Gen X. And so she said, well, why don't you just be Gen X auntie or Gen X aunt? I'm like, that I am. And so I took a picture with me in a graphic tee and my flannel shirt. And, so actually what I was wearing that day. And I said something about, going as Gen X aunt today. And a lot of people, because of my family, they speak Spanish. So I also wrote Gen X aunt / tia, because that's the word for aunt in Spanish. And I said something, I said, oh, wait, that's just me. No wonder I love it so much. And so pick some components of an authentic me, the real me, however, you choose to call it, costume. Might it be a piece of jewelry? Might it be a style of clothing, a color of clothing, a certain fabric, like cotton or denim or satin or something? What would you include in your authentically or real me costume? And I invite you to start incorporating that in your wardrobe or in your rotation on a more consistent basis. And to give you an example, again, I share my examples because these are things that I've realized or that I've experienced. For me, boots are my power accessory. It doesn't matter if like they're lace-up boots or like booties that are like ankle booties, or the taller ones that you pull on up over leggings or jeans. It doesn't matter if they're high heeled or if they're flat. Boots are my power accessory. I really do feel like, like I can take on the world and I am stable and confident. And I don't know why it's boots, but boots are my thing. So I wear them quite often. Even in the summer, I wear the lace up ones, or like the Doc Martens style. I haven't had like actual Doc Martens in a while, and I don't know why. I loved the ones that I had before. And so, what is a power accessory for you? Is wearing a scarf, or a certain color, and how can you incorporate it in your rotation on a daily basis or more often, and start stepping into wearing this authentically me costume so that you show up more and more as yourself. And I did a talk about this earlier, but the reason that this authentic me costume came up is because I was doing a presentation in another community around Halloween. And I was talking about, the conversation came up how when we wear Halloween costumes, whether if it's of another person or a character or whatever the case is, very often, or most of the time, I think, whatever costume we're wearing, we act like that person, or we embody that character, right? Or we say things like that character, or we do actions. We act differently than our normal, our everyday selves. I won't say normal, our everyday self, because we're wearing this costume. And even though people know it's us, we really don't care. And we still, embody and act up silly or act up different to personify that costume that we're wearing. So why not do that with a real me, an authentically me costume, and start showing up and acting like that real version of yourself, not with all the different hats, not with, being quiet in this space so that they won't be uncomfortable, or not talking, or saying things like I normally would. Think of it as a costume, and that you could care less what other people think because you're wearing this costume, but it's one that you are embodying and really stepping into, and not the one that you will take off and put away like a Halloween costume. But just this idea that when we wear a costume, we act differently and we don't care, even though people know it's us. So see if you can apply that, if that helps at all, and try incorporating elements of your real, authentically me costume. And so lastly, I think I might actually get done within the hour like I wanted to. The last thing I'm going to share with you is that, it's part of the challenge, but also it's something that I mentioned at the new moons. I want to share with you, I want to screen share and share my manifesting me with the moon. I was calling it a course before, but it's not really a course, because it's more of like a framework or a blueprint. And so since we have the Scorpio New Moon today, I'm going to show you the Scorpio component, the Scorpio lesson module, if you will. If I can do this correctly, the screen sharing thing just like somehow boggles my mind. I don't know why, but that's something for me to work on. Let's see. So, share screen. Which one's it going to let me show? All of them? I have so many tabs open. Here we go. Manifesting me. Okay, so let me get to the right screen. Okay, so this is the Manifesting Me with the Moon, the curriculum. And so it has all of 12 of the zodiac signs, and we are at Scorpio. So inside the Scorpio lesson, and I think the video might start right away, so I have to pause it. Yep. So that's a lovely pause point, but that's okay. Each zodiac sign comes with a lesson, like 10 minutes. So they're not any more than, I think, 15 minutes. And so I talk about the zodiac sign and some of the associations, and then every single module for each zodiac sign also comes with this worksheet. And as I was looking at this, I found a typo in this. So now I'm going to have to go back and change it, but I'm still going to walk you through it. So for every zodiac sign, I share what the element is, talked about water for Scorpio, what it's represented by, the archangel associated with that zodiac, the planet or planets. So for Scorpio, it's Mars and Pluto. The goddess or goddesses associated with the sign. So for Scorpio is Kali, which is death and sexuality. We talked about that transformational energy. Brings, and here's the typo, it should say brings transformation to one's ego. I will be changing that. Persephone also is associated with this sign, helps in the ability to overcome life's tests and empowers transformation of circumstances. The chakra and the essential oil or an essential oil associated. So these are the associations you get for all 12 signs. And then this is kind of like a fill in your own adventure type of worksheet. If you want to incorporate the element of water, you can jot down here what you're going to include. That can be actual water, like in a cup or a bowl. You can incorporate seashells or something from the ocean, whatever thing. Something that represents a scorpion. You might have a little, figurine or a picture, of Scorpio or the scorpion. If you choose to work with the archangel, maybe you have a picture that you include. So whatever aspects and associations you include, you can jot down what they are or what you're using. And then the third page is a blank page where you can doodle your intentions, you can journal, you can actually document what your new moon intention ritual or practice consisted of, thoughts that you have. And since these are digital, you can print out as many sheets of these as you like. And so let's see if I go back, if this is going to work. Pause it again. Also included, I have to go back one more. Come on, you can do it. And it goes all the way back. I also am now in the process of adding playlists for each zodiac sign. Oh my gosh, this morning it showed it the right way. So there's a link here, but this is also supposed to be embedded. It's supposed to show you, if I stop sharing and do it again, it's supposed to show you the actual playlist on Spotify. Let's see if it will do it. It doesn't. Oh my gosh. Maybe I go to a different one. What other one has it? Like I checked it even before starting this. I checked it and now it's not doing it. Okay, well, another one did. So I'll show you that one. The playlist is in there, but it was showing you the image. And I'll show you like the Leo one. This is what it looked like on Scorpio before I jumped on. So you have the link here, the clickable link that takes you directly to the playlist. It's on Spotify. And then you also have it's embedded here where you can play it straight from Teachable and see the songs that are on there. And so, you can play this throughout the lunar cycle. You can play it while you're doing your new moon intention setting. And also, I encourage you to create your own playlists. Like, take songs that you like and maybe other songs that you would associate with that, and also create your own playlists, that resonate with you. So can't wait to see it and check it out. I'm so excited. And so I do want to put how you can get that. So you can jump in and use the Scorpio information tonight. Also, we are in new moon energy for several days. Let me tell you exactly how many days we are in new moon energy. 3 of 4. So we're in new moon energy until it moves into the next phase until 3:58 p.m. Pacific, on Thursday, the 16th. So that's today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Most of the day, and actually later in the day, that would be 6:58 p.m. on the Eastern side, to work with this new moon energy and set your intentions and ask yourself how you want to feel. Do the journal prompts, any journal prompts. Do some journaling. And so that's the beauty also of the lunar cycle. It's not like, oh, you have to do it at this moment, on this day, at this time. We have a window of time to work with. And so let me put that there for those of you that do want to check this out. And I am not, like I showed you the playlist, I'm actually kind of doing it in close to real time. So it seems like every year I add a component or I add something to it. And so this year I am adding the playlists. And I also like thinking ahead, I might add some actual essential oils, DIYs that you can do, or ways to incorporate the essential oil for each of the zodiac signs. And as I'm talking slower because I'm also searching. Here we go. Here's the link. Manifesting me with the moon. Oh, come on. So I'm going to include this here. I have to go straight into Facebook to do it. And I'm going to put the link there for those of you that want to check it out. And if you have questions, let me know. Here we go. Yay. Oh, see, now when I'm in Facebook, I can see it's Melody. Hello. On StreamYard, it was not showing me your name. So check out the Manifesting Me with the Moon program. It's not really a program, but just to give you an idea. Here. And okay. And I think I can, for those of you on YouTube, I can add that here from StreamYard. Program/framework. Here. I don't know why. Well, I do know why StreamYard doesn't allow it into groups because they are not always public. And this is a private group. So so now in Facebook and on YouTube, you guys should be able to see that. And so if you have any questions about setting intentions with the Scorpio new moon, if you have any questions about the challenge, just comment on a post or shoot me a message and I will get the information to you. And tomorrow is going to be day 2 of the challenge. So we'll be talking about that that is kind of in flux, attract abundance. And it will be just like today. There'll be a video and a post for you to share your experiences. And I think that's it. I did not see any questions come through. So I will say that's it for me today. Welcome to everyone to the group for the challenge. And just because, you found your way here, and happy Scorpio new moon intention setting. I will see you guys around. Take care.